second time lucky today at Brno after technical glitches meant that we missed the first race, which Coops won, and Dugamus also got a podium, and Lee was second I think as well. So Lee coming into the series for the first time and straight onto a podium, so a really good result from him. Coops, who really should have won last time out at least once at the Algarve, managed to take race 1 victory. Mark had a couple of spins, some issues for Mark, so the man who won all 3 last time out was not able to repeat that feat in race 1, but hopefully he'll get a better race here in race 2. We've got a much bigger grid this time. We've got Chrysler starting in 8th, Graham in 7th, and looks like we're ready to go, just syncing up. Here in the ribs, rise, lights are on, and they're away, and it's a really good start from the front row, but Oz makes a really tardy start in the Mercedes further back, and one of the Nissans is off, it's Mark. He's had a terrible start, and the Jaguar, 2 Jaguars off together, but Andy is right through into the lead with Oz Phillips. Sorry, it wasn't Oz, it was the Dugamus in the gold and black Mercedes with a really bad start. Oz is up to 2nd place. Andy's streaking away in the lead at the moment. Fantastic stuff. And some real mixing up here as Lee goes on the attack. Lee gets in position, he gets up to 2nd. He's already ahead of Oz Phillips. That was a great move from Lee. Andy is streaking away, but he's not in an easy car to drive. One of the Jaguars spinning. Is that Graham going round and round and round? Oh, that's not good. He's reset, and Mark is just joining him there in the back. But Andy is streaking out the lead, 2 seconds up the road. But he's got the fast charging Lee in 2nd place. Of course, Lee's on a wheel, Andy on the pad, so it's going to be hard work for Andy. But let's see what Andy can bring home here. Coops and Oz Phillips fighting it out over 3rd. Coops already up to 3rd place, so he's going to go hunting down Lee. That could, if he can get there quick enough, give a little bit of respite for Andy. Dugamus is in 5th, recovering from that very slow start. Remember, this man got a podium in the first race here today at Brno, and these guys actually handling the Mercedes quite nicely. Look at that, Oz and Dudes just driving quite gently, quite carefully. Oz makes a mistake, Dudes runs into him. Oh, it's a bit of a mistake from Dudes there. He didn't have time to react, I don't think. Bit of a moment from Oz, and thankfully both of them come out pointing in the right direction. Martin having a slightly better run in the Mercedes, pick up what result Martin picked up in that first race. Now in front, and he's dropping down the field, and he must have had a big moment because he's now down to 5th and fighting over 5th because Martin's coming up behind him. Lee inherits the lead with Coops less than a second behind. Coops so fast, remember, last time out at the Algarve, and you wouldn't bet him putting Lee under some pressure, bet against it rather. And we've got Oz in 3rd, still clinging on the 3rd in Mercedes, doing a grand job ahead of Dudes, ahead of Andy. Andy trying to come back. Andy up the inside of Dudes, his main position. I'm not quite sure as they go into the right hander, and then it's down the hill towards the double right hander at the bottom. Graham recovering from Jaguar, and Dub's not here today unfortunately. Fantastic purple and white Jaguar. But the battle is on for the lead. Coops has really caught on Lee. There's half a second between them now. Coops obviously getting some experience from last week. Lee not having really driven these cars very much. He certainly wasn't around last week joining the championship. And Oz still hanging on to 3rd, but it is very tight all the way from 3rd to 8th place. And there goes Andy for a move, and it's a clean move. The torpedo streaks through with a decent move. Well done, Andy, and he's back up into a podium spot. Oz could do nothing but didn't defend hard, which was a sensible thing to do because they can keep going. And he's under pressure from Mark, who's recovering well, but it's so tight all the way from 3rd down to 8th, just 4 seconds in it. Mark moves up another position. Great move from Mark there in 4th. I think Oz just knew that was coming and more or less just pulled out of the way and let it happen. But the Mercedes is so quick down the street, look at it go. And he got Oz. He's not able to put Mark under any big pressure at this time. And Graham in the Jaguar, covering. And there's Martin and Chrysler. Chrysler in the same livery Jaguar as Dubs was last week, but struggling at the back of the field at the moment. Lee has still way under half a second. Coops almost into the back, but controls it beautifully, and they're almost side by side through the left-hander. And of course it's a double left-hander because we come up to the second one now, and they're side by side. Coops almost driving around the outside. He's going to give it a go. This would be a fantastic move. He manages it. It's brilliant, and he's up the inside of Lee. And that's not to take anything away from Lee, but Coops is majestic in these cars. Really got the feel for them. And through he goes, and could this be 2 out of 2 today for Coops? Let's not jinx that too early, because he made some mistakes at the Algarve. And Andy is in a reasonably comfortable third, but the recovering Mark in the other Nissan is catching him hand over fist, and there's now less than a second between them as the race just begins to calm down a little bit. There's Douglas in 5th, Graham in 6th. Oz has dropped all the way back down to 7th now. It's unfortunate. I'm not quite sure what happened, whether that was his own mistake or whether he had some assistance. But either way, he's struggling a little bit. Martin also struggling in the Mercedes. It seems like Douglas has actually got the handle on the Mercedes better than any of the Mercedes drivers so far, which is really impressive. He's been really good so far this season and this series. And Coops streaking out. He's got pulled a 2-second advantage now. But Andy is holding off Mark at the moment brilliantly. He says as he goes on board, and Andy goes through the gravel. Mark is straight through. There's no fight over that one. So a little bit further back, we've got Oz, and Oz has fallen back even further behind Martin now, and looks like he's really struggling with the car. That's sad because it was a good start. Andy has retaken Mark. I missed how that happened. I think Mark's had a spin because he's dropped a long way behind. And now Douglas putting him under pressure for that 4th place. Douglas really on fire in that Mercedes. What a job he's doing, and what a great looking car that is in the black and gold livery. It's like a packet of B&H. Martin running a fairly lonely 7th. He's pulled a little way ahead of Oz now. Graham's up the 6th in the Jaguar, which is the highest running Jaguar on the road. Somebody's kicked up the tyres just ahead of him. I don't know if that was Mark or if that was perhaps a car ahead of Mark. But no, it can't be. He's a long way ahead of these guys now. They might have been kicked up last time around, but Coops is streaking ahead of Lee, some 5.5 seconds now. It's almost 20 seconds back to the next guy, 18 seconds back to Andy, who's just coming through the first turns now. Mark in the background, still under some sort of pressure from Douglas in 5th place. These guys are probably the closest on track at the moment. And here comes the Jaguar. Graham getting the hold of it. Graham not also involved in the series last week in the first round, so Graham's just using these races to adapt a little bit. He should pick up some reasonable points in this one. Mark is now pulling away from Dukes again, so hoping that Mark doesn't have any other issues. He is likely to be able to pull away from Douglas a little bit further and hopefully secure that 4th place for him. Andy is still in a reasonably comfortable 3rd though, I would have said. He's still got a lap and a quarter to hang on in order to secure that. But should be on. Coops is unchallengeable today though. with a huge advantage. Lee in that very lonely second, so we're looking for a very similar podium to race 1. Looks at Dukes is unlikely to pick up third in this one. Looks like Andy's going to secure that. We are on the final lap. About half the lap left to run. Andy looks in control there. Sorry, a little bit more than half a lap to run, but less than half a lap to run for this man, Coops, who is in the lead. Looking highly likely to secure 2 out of 2 here today, as he kicks the back out, almost throws it away. But he's got a decent advantage over the rest at the moment. Lee in second place, Andy in third. And as we come through the final 2 turns, it will be Coops to take 2 out of 2. The man who was on fire at the Algarve, but couldn't quite convert it into a win, and that's a great win. Second on the trot here. Lee is going to get a second on the trot. 2 fantastic results for the returnee. And Andy is going to come through the final left hand and right hand and secure third place. And a great podium from Andy, who's on the pad, don't forget. Great stuff from him, and Mark is going to finish 4th after a pretty horrible start. He's recovered really well, so that will keep him in the championship fight for sure. Dukes turns up in 5th. A great result in Mercedes, not quite as great as race 1, but that was hard to match. And Graham, shout out to Graham for coming a 6th place at for Jaguar. Martin is going to be 7th. Still unfortunately struggling with that tricky Mercedes. Likewise Oz, who was really quick at the start of the race, and it was looking so good, but I don't know if the tyres are going off particularly quickly or something, but it was not to be. And here is the Chrysler in that beautiful Jaguar, streaking out the final turn, and he does just come across the line. And there is your race result. Coops from Lee, fantastic lap. I mean, some 3 seconds quicker than Lee. Andy, Mark, Dumas, Graham in the Jag, Martin, Oz, and then another Jaguar in 9th.